demon in particular is a vengeful, bloodthirsty, death-inducing,
Great adjectives. You are very good at this.
macabre demon that will not rest until it gets what it wants. And what it wants is very, very personal.
Yeah.
To who they are.
We reluctantly get involved with this one. We realize that that our first goal is Judy. We think rightfully so. Lorraine figures out that she's in trouble. We can't find her, and she's gone rogue, I guess, for lack of a more eloquent term, because she obviously senses there's something much deeper. It becomes Michael's job and James and everybody else that is really creating the script and story and structuring it to really put people on edge. The discomfort is what is where the scares are created, and that tension and that discomfort, and that is pretty profound here. First time I read this script, I remember feeling like, oh, they got it right. Like a nice, exciting, thrilling, scary, but for anybody that loved all the relationships and going back to the first film and just the bits of humor and playfulness and chemistry and love in a relationship, you'll feel that. Much now 4 movies in, right? Into his horror oeuvre. So he's much more, he loves to, his confidence, his passion, and he's pushing himself technically, which I think is really, really great. He's in such a great space for someone that's got this reverence for the series, but able to infuse his own passion and skill and the things that he's learned, and maybe the things that he, from the third or Nun 2 or movies that he's done, and go, okay, how can I push myself? So that's the Chaves that we're getting here, which is really, really, really exciting.
I mean, in all the other Conjurings, Judy's just not embraced her gift, and this is the first time that you see her explore it and not run from it. You see her embrace it. And, I mean, as parents, I mean, yeah, there's just like raising a typical adolescent and, coaching her in ways to become a courageous and strong woman. But there's a whole other aspect of coaching her, and it's in her clairvoyance.
Judy is the daughter of the Warrens, Lorraine and Ed, and she shares psychic abilities like her mother. I had the pleasure of meeting and chatting to the real Judy Warren, who also came to visit us on set, and I was able to go for dinner with her. So it was brilliant because I was sort of developing a Judy that was, I guess, unique and in line with what's in the script, which is also very close to who Judy is, but there are elements that you sort of have to adapt. And meeting the real Judy, I could take pieces of what she's like and what's important to her and put that into the character just to sort of land that authenticity there. Working, obviously, with Vera is brilliant. We have the exact same cackle and laugh. She's got a fantastic sense of humour, Vera. I'm absolutely loving every minute of working with her. So I think that's been really great because naturally I do feel this kind of motherly bond with Vera. She's got that about her anyway as a sort of instinctual, natural character. She's very, very caring and very generous. So it's actually been kind of an easy transition in that way, like depicting that side of the relationship. Tony is a supportive character for Judy. There is a point where she knows her mother's so protective of her, she can't actually share the visual experience that she's having because she doesn't want to concern them. So Tony then becomes the person that she relies on for that kind of protection and that consolation. And Tony is that. He's a shoulder to lean on. He's supportive, non-judgmental, and brave. And that's what we see in Ben's character in the film, which is great. Chaves is a horror nerd. We love it. He's very passionate about horror films. He knows his stuff. And I think actors are sort of only as passionate as the directors are. And Chaves is passionate. He knows exactly how he wants things done. Visually, he's adventurous. And I've had a lot of fun working with him, I guess, in terms of the, you know, everything changes. There's no scene shot the same. We're sort of, cameras are moving in different ways, on different structures, from different angles. It's a very sort of creative process, and it's been a very collaborative process. There's a lot that everyone can sort of bring to it and ask to do or add. And, you know, Chaves is a keen collaborator. I think there's always something to be said for seeing a film in a cinema on a giant screen. I mean, there's nothing more frightening. And being around other people in a dark room or doing that.
He comes in very, you know, eager-eyed, fresh-faced, doesn't really know anything about the Warrens, only kind of snippets of what Judy's told him. Judy Warren, their daughter. And I suppose the journey for Tony throughout the film is, at the very beginning, he proposes to Judy, but he still hasn't quite won the acceptance of Ed Warren. Lorraine intuits that Tony is a good thing to be in Judy's life, but Ed is, you know, she's his baby, she's a little girl, and Tony is trying to prove to him that not only that he's good enough for his daughter, but that he can handle the world in which they live in, the world which is very new to Tony. I think Tony is the kind of guy who he's fallen in love with her from the second he saw her. I think he's a romantic. The second he saw her, he's like, that's my girl. That's who I want to be with. And he just wants to be there for her in any way possible. So and what Judy sees in him is, she sees that support, and also that he's open to these things. Conjuring Last Rites is directed by Michael Chaves, and he has been awesome to work with. He's been great. He's so excited and so, like, animated in the way he expresses himself on set. He's kind of like a big kid, you know. He's just, and I mean that in a complimentary way. He's just having fun making movies, you know. He's just one of those people that comes to set and just, you can tell that he feels that sense of privilege and honor to be making movies. So something I share with him, you know, like every day on set, I'm thankful to be there. This movie is just packed with goosebumps, spine chills. It's the kind of thing, sure, you can watch it at home, but if you watch it at the cinema, and especially if you watch it on IMAX, it's just going to elevate that experience so much more. Like, I'm going to watch this in IMAX, and that's not a vanity project. That's just because I want to experience the thing as it's meant to be experienced.
When I look at Vera's performance, when I look at Patrick's performance, I don't know if they've ever been better. I think that, and they're the best. They've been in so many great movies, but they're so good in this movie. Lorraine gives her the advice that she needs to just shut it out. And it seems like a good solution at the time, but what we realize as she's growing up is that has only been wallpapering over the bigger issue. And that this is something that's gonna be reckoned with. This is gonna be something that comes back and gets her. They've dodged a bullet, that they're no longer doing these cases. We know they're gonna get pulled back into it. And I think there's that inevitability that is really fun with those type of stories where we know the hero's gonna get pulled in for one last job. And we always know that one last job is the one that's going to destroy them. Vera's great in these movies. She loves making Conjuring movies. She's got one of the best screams ever. I think one of the things that's also incredible is her looks. It's literally, and she totally knows this because I always am like, Vera, I need one of those Vera Farmiga looks. And it's like, it's literally, it's the simplest thing. It's like wherever the camera is, she will just turn her head in the most simple, subtle way. And it has so much power. It's such like a movie star look. And it's like, it's great. It's like her sensing things, but it's just like a moment where you're like looking at her and living with her. And like, it really has, like, she just nails it. If she was here right now, she absolutely knows I would be talking about that, because I'm always like, I need one of those Vera Farmiga looks. We wanted to be as authentic as possible, and a lot of the Smurl house was just was based off of real photos that we found, and talking to the Smurl girls, and the outside is an exact match of the house. We recreated that from pictures, and there was even we shot in London, and we built it, well, outside of London, and we built the neighborhood on this old runway. Tony also, Ben Hardy, just rocked the part of Tony. He really came in, and, you know, I've always been a fan of his, and he brought so much to that part, and I think so much, he was disarming and funny and kind of a klutz when he needed to be. But then he also had so much depth to him. James and Peter have been the best collaborators and partners in making this series, and I'm so grateful to both of them for letting me into this world and giving me as much support as they have. And they've always been supportive and collaborative and just always trying to make the best movie possible. And I'm so lucky to have been a part of that. I think that first Conjuring movie changed their lives. And as I said, it changed my life. And it's just cool to have been a part of that journey, to be brought along with it.
I will always look back at the first Conjuring with probably the fondest memories I will ever have in terms of my filmmaking career. It's definitely the movie that really set me on the trajectory that I've always wanted to be in. And I've a lot to be thankful for this franchise and for this world, for the story of the Warrens and what we've created with the cinematic version of all of this. So here we are, finally about to close a very big chapter in all of our lives with The Last Rites. One of the things that we realize with each subsequent Conjuring films that we make is that, you know, why people keep coming back to the Conjuring movies is because they love Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga and their depiction of Ed and Lorraine Warren and just the family dynamic that they have. And so naturally, their daughter, Judy, would play into this story in a big, big way. Part of the challenge for us is trying to come up with new things, new scares that we haven't quite seen before. And Chaves definitely, you know, really spent a lot of time thinking about that. He's familiar with Patrick and Vera, and he's familiar with the characters in that world. And so I think, you know, he's coming into this movie with a lot more confidence, and he's designing some set pieces that I felt very good about, and it's exciting to see Chaves kind of grow with each subsequent films that he has made, and you know we feel very lucky to have him on this movie with us. What can I say about Vera and Patrick that we all haven't already said? That they're truly the beating heart of the franchise. You know, they're the reason why fans keep coming back. It's because of what they've embodied with these characters and what they bring to the franchise, to these films, and you know we're very thankful to them for all of that. You know, I'm super lucky on the first movie to have worked with them and actually to be their friends, and there's two truly terrific people. They are as they appear to be. They're truly like authentic, genuine people, and I cannot be happy that they've, you know, sort of found such great success with the Conjuring films. Horror movies have always been incredible communal experience, and definitely it's the same with the Conjuring films. You know, you want to go into the theater to experience it in a dark room with, you know, with lots of other sort of people that love this world and enjoy it. The scares just play so much better. The sound system, the big screen visuals. You know, we really made this for the big screen, and we want people to be able to see this on the biggest screen they can and experience this, you know, this final moment. And so I think they'll be doing themselves a disservice if they don't see this on the biggest screen with the best sound system, because we really want to go out with a bang.
I think that's why people keep coming back to see the next adventure, the next investigation, the next stage in their lives. It's because they've fallen in love with Ed and Lorraine as portrayed by Patrick and Vera. I think the bar for theatrical movies has only gotten higher over the last decade. And, you know, your film has to be a commentary on the human condition to some degree. And I said, if we can scare them and make them cry, we're going to have a real winner. And, you know, Michael Chaves took that to heart. And I think he made a beautiful, beautiful movie that if you stripped out the scares, it would still be an incredible family drama. Being able to discover and find Mia and Ben just put us at ease. They somehow embodied both the goodness that the Warrens have, but as actors, they're tremendous, and they were able to do everything that Michael Chaves asked of them, and more. And we were able to lean on them very, very heavily for this film, and they really do an incredible job. I knew that we were in safe hands when Michael agreed to step into the director's shoes for Conjuring Last Rites. I knew that we had something special, and I knew that he wanted to leave this franchise on a very, very high note. You know, it's not easy to follow James Wan. James is truly the consummate horror filmmaker who blends scares and emotion in a beautiful, beautiful fashion. But I think that Michael has learned so much from James over the years, and there really could not have been anybody better to handle Conjuring Last Rites than Michael. I think that they can expect what they love from the Conjuring movies, which is a really human story, a beautiful family story, but one that is as scary as anything they've ever seen, as tense as anything they've ever seen, but probably even more emotionally satisfying than any film that we have made.